Lucy.
My dad.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Lucy.
My dad.
Hi, I'm Tom.
To try and use their utility to get closer to this high ground position, so that defense of the compound is going to be huge. Vitality having no choice, the utility already dissipating, having to jump into the water to swim a little bit closer to shore. It's now going to be about placements, but that water is going to be a huge issue, as coming out of it's going to be very difficult.
You see shots going left and right, and Avangard defending this compound very, very well. TSM still outside the circle. They have to make their movement, but it'll be difficult to do so when Drain is in the rest of Avangard, trying to take some shots on the Unukted, even outside the church, trying to get the shots, and Smack goes down. Break will be on the other UAZ along with his teammate. Break goes down. This is going to be the last man standing for TSM, and can they get it done? And that will be the wipe of TSM.
Yeah, TSM had no time and space. We haven't seen utility being used by TSM a lot here. They had to use those vehicles, and vehicles this late in the game are a disaster, and that's exactly what it was for TSM. They are going out in 9th place.
And this is an absolute reminiscence of what we've seen Avangard in the last week of Katowice as they found their success through the very much a late game aggression they have shown throughout the tournament. But now they're starting to kick up the gear, Moses, onto day 3.
Yeah, Avangard coming on here now. They're able to get some of those kills, picking up a nice squad wipe onto TSM, staying 4 up here, as well as Vega and IFTY. Everyone's starting to take casualties now. This next transition, this next circle change is going to dictate the end game.
And you talked about the decision-making of Avangard being the kind of the only fault of this team as they even won that tournament last week. But the shooting ability, it's been proven again and again. This team should not be scoffed at.
There are no slouches when it comes to shooting in this tournament. These are all professionals. They all play and work as teams. Shooting is the least of their worries. It's more about that movement, the decision-making, time management, all that stuff that we've talked about that goes into making some of the best teams in the world. Vitality still managing to move out of cover through that bad zone. There's still 2 up here. They're looking to try and fish with dynamite here. Looks like Vega is under fire. Myth in the water as well. But Vega has made landfall, and this is their opportunity to make something of this.
Vitality, you can get a few fishes when it comes to just scooping them up off the water. They can do a little bit of that, but more importantly, they are 2-man strong only initially. So just moving from that direction, trying to make an aggressive push is going to be a little bit of a difficulty for these guys. But otherwise, Avangard, 3 of these guys already making it to the save. Last man Keen is going to be still in that compound trying to make the last movement towards the circle, but the 3-man squad is going to be up for the scouts, finding that it is mostly safe around their remaining area.
Yeah, this is going to be up to 4AM and Avangard to make the most of this. Avangard still in a good spot here. They've picked up 9 kills so far, so they've been doing a good job of utilizing this good position to pick up a lot of frags. IFTY now moving in their sights as well. So IFTY is going to have to do something here to displace Avangard, but it's going to be very difficult.
And this is something we haven't seen from Avangard in day 1 and most of day 2, where they pick up the good positions first. And we're going to see Vega and Vitality here. Doesn't really work out. Vitality does a little bit of damage towards Vega Squadron here, and we're going to see if Vega Squadron was wiped here, but I think there's still a few members left remaining.
No, that's only 1 down for Vega so far. The rest, in the water there, as Vega actually pushes onto Shadow, and Vega will wipe Vitality. So that's going to be a nice pickup for Vega. They're going to be able to get onto land. So that's a nice little kill there from them.
We talked about concerning the fact that they were only 2-men strong with Vitality. They cannot move the same way as if they were 4, but you know, they had to just stay behind that water, try to pick out some fish if they could, but they really were just eaten by the fish in the end.
IFTY actually losing 1 to the play zone there, so I think that knock is not going to be punished. So IFTY down to 3. Atletico's still in this.
F5 is going to go for it, just trying to get the kill here, but really plus level coming from IFTY, sees the intention coming and just goes on the reaction, get the just immediate knock and kill onto the Atletico member.
Yeah, it looks like Atletico here now down to 1. And unable to convert on a low health enemy, so that's tough for Atletico. They are eliminated, and all that loot obviously not helping them.
And IFTY gonna get the opposite end of the trade, where they do get all that loot. They're killing off the Australian members, and Avangard, IFTY, they're kind of the big squads when it comes to so many members are still left remaining. Avangard is the only 4-man squad left remaining. Vega Squadron with that one knock is going to be just trying to fish out Dre from the wall.
Dre is unable to come up for air without taking immediate pressure, and Maxizor will finish off Tempo Storm. So securing a 5th place finish, I think the Water doing its duty there, but Avangar all of a sudden in position to win this game.
And let's talk about this team that we have been talking about for the entire game. 4 Angry Men, the team from China that just won the TPP match. I talked about a little bit of an indirect connection when it comes to winning the TPP match. You are awarded at least 1 FPP, but they're still in here to knock out. As I just say that. Okay,
them.
come on, let's not curse them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So 4AM
to all the
taking a
millions
nade.
of viewers at China, I am sorry.
So they took a nade there, getting knocked 2 of those teams down, or 2 of those members down. Captain, the last man standing. Vega coming in, and that grenade did a lot of damage to them, trying to displace them out of their high ground position. Avangard just absolutely pelting them with grenades. IFTY coming in like sharks to try and finish as well.
And already, this is a 4 roster. You're talking about very uncharacteristic of what we usually see in the final standing. We see Avangard, Vega Squadron, 4-man, IFTY. We see IFTY getting a few knocks onto themselves as well. So 4-man, IFTY, the 2 Chinese teams with the kind of a lot of the knocks that they cannot res so easily.
You have to wonder if there's a bit of professional rivalry right there as IFTY going right at 4AM, but Vega putting pressure onto Avangard now. So Vega is sneaking into this game. They do have 5 kills, 3 men up. They're looking to put pressure on Avangard. Avangard trying to hold on to what advantage they do have. The circle is closing. So Vega does have the zone.
So if we're expecting 4 Angry Men, they still have 2 men left remaining even with the knock, but just going into this, I wonder if the Chinese squad can overcome these 2 CIS regions right now. Russia versus Russia might be the potential end of the story here with Avangard Vega Squadron looking strong in this late game.
Avangard might have used all their grenades trying to displace 4AM, and they have maybe little utility to use here. The circle at their backs, they're going to have to press over. This is going to be game time for Avangard.
Oh, Maxizor's on the left. I wonder if he's going to notice him here. It's not looking towards that direction. Vega's going to be trying to give some damage here. Nuke tip, very quick on the reaction. Vega's going to go down 1 by 1, and Avangard, they got Keen left over, and suddenly 4AM's going to ruin the party, and they're going to get the win here.
Oh, 4AM using that high ground position while all those teams were murdering each other down before them. 4AM, the Chinese team having defended their high ground position, takes a great win here.
And TPP win right off the track. They get the 2nd chicken dinner in a row, Moses.
That's 2 wins in a row. Unfortunately, the first one in the show match not counting, but 4AM all of a sudden bursting into that late game. Avangard and Vega going toe-to-toe, doing a ton of damage to each other. Avangard eking out a 2nd place just barely, but that was any man's game, and 4AM seized it.
And you know what else that means, though? 4AM winning does conclude the fact that we got the first chicken dinner from the entire continent of Asia.
Yep.
And the 4AM from China gets that done.
Absolutely. So that's a great pickup for them. They used that high ground position. They held it for so long. They picked up a nice amount of kills. Avangard was 4 strong up into the very end there. That one knock from Vega basically made them go into a defensive shell. They had to spend so much time looking to see what Vega was going to do. We've seen this in other games where they just kind of distracted each other, but Avangard had the opportunity to win that. They had the win within their sights, but 4AM, that high ground position just completely ruined it for them.
And Avangard, Vega Squadron, the 2 Russian squads going on a civil war at the end because they had to fight against each other. They were just so focused on each other that 4AM was just off their tracks.
Absolutely. And you know, even looking at IFTY making that IFTY, I should say, pushing up towards them, try to do the same thing. They get wiped. 4AM is able to recover from that, use that little prone position and to Tempo's credit, coming in 5th place, they were able to keep 1 in the water, just enough to get in that top 5 finish. Atletico outside the top 5. But ultimately, that was a great job from 4AM and China in general.
And wonderful performance by China and 4AM in general. But we're going to have an interview with one of the players from 4AM to see how he feels about that victory.
Well, what a way to kick off day 3 here at the Invitational. China picking up their first win in competition play. So, Godvi, you won the show match, but you've actually won a tournament match now. How does that feel?
今天是一个非常好的一个开始，你们先赢得了表演赛的胜利，然后又取得一个正规赛的一个胜利，你现在感觉如何？
感觉很好，因为 就今天就前2天学习了很多嘛，然后今天就对自己和对队友都非常有信心，然后他们也是一样的，所以我相信我们接下来会打得更好。
So he's feeling great right now, and they learned a lot from the past 2 days. So they had a great start, great beginning. So they're feeling really good.
Well, that's good to hear that you've been able to have such a learning experience over the first 2 days. Is this the beginning of China to start to pick up in this tournament?
你觉得接下来会不会中国队伍打得越来越好？
就我觉得啊，大家就3个中国队的话，都是抱着就是学习的心态来的，然后相信大家都会在比赛中不断的成长，然后都会变得更好。
He believes so. So they came here with the mentality to learn and improve, and they've been doing that. So hopefully things will work out in the games after.
Well, a lot of people were pegging IFTY as the strongest Chinese team coming into this tournament. So do you think they can also win, or is 4 Angry Men the best Chinese team?
就是在比赛开始之前，很多人都觉得 IFTY 是中国最强的队伍。那你觉得接下来他们是否也能够取得一些回合的胜利，还是你们觉得你们也可以？
就不仅是我们，就是在国内的 FPV 训练赛中 ，IFTY 都是表现最好的。我相信他们接下来2天会把自己调整得更好，也会做得更好的。
So when they were practicing FPP in China, IFTY usually comes out on top. So he hopes they will keep adjusting and keep improving and probably get better results.
Well, that's excellent to hear. And finally, Godvi, do you have anything to say to the Chinese fans or any of the viewers out there?
你有什么想要对你的粉丝说的吗？
谢谢大家在国内就倒那个时差的，然后一直在关注我们的比赛，然后接下来我们一定会打得更好的，非常感谢。
He did a shout out to his fans who have to watch the matches right now. It's already really late in China, and appreciate that everyone's supporting them.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Godvi. Congratulations and best of luck with the rest of the tournament. We're going to take it over to our analyst to break down our first game of day 3.
I'm honestly really disappointed that, you know, we saw one of the members of 4 Angry Men and he wasn't angry at all. Like that was, you know, just a cool guy, just talking, not really that excited about the win. I don't know, what the hell. This is the first win for the Asia region here in Kiev at Star Ladder Star Series I-League, and I think that's a big deal.
Well, they get angry in game, but out of game, they're cool, calm, and collected. That's the Chinese way, right? And cool, like you said, to the chat, this is great for those fans who are staying up late to really support their teams outside of their normal meta. It was, earlier today, we talked about 4 Angry Men, watching them adapt. This morning during scrims and stuff, we were seeing things we had never seen from them before, and it was really cool to sort of see that, like you said, they were learning and evolving. So now to have a win not only shakes it up, Eastern win, but also shows that it's working.
They got 2 wins in a row right now, and the ending, by the way, like it all went so fast. I thought Vega won, and then I thought Vanguard won, but 4AM won again. That's crazy. They have been playing really well, and we always believed in them.
They had a great spot.
They had a high ground though.
And that's, the castle is underrated. It's a beautiful place. There's back castle, which is almost impossible to breach.
Really good.
Front castle, as long as you're not standing on top of each other for grenades, which I think 4AM learned the hard way there for a minute with the Vega, really nice nade that did take 2 out. It's a really good, manageable position.
There's only one small passage on the west side of it where a person can go up the hill, and there's only one person that can go like next to each other. So there's no way of doing like a really coordinated attack on that castle at all. So not really, you know, a surprise that they did win that final fight, but at the same time, this circle was the first time ending in that position, and we have seen the members of FaZe, of Liquid, of Vitality, kinda being eaten alive.
Yeah, they all got ripped apart. I mean, at the end of the day, when you talk about the final standings, and we'll go over that in a little while, the top 4 teams were not winners or top performers in the tournament so far, so that was cool.
All right, before we go and discuss those highlights, we have to talk about NVIDIA GeForce Experience, who is bringing us those highlights every single day. And as you can see, I mean, the first highlight was beautiful. The first kill of the game, of the day with the UAZ. And you can also turn that on your own PC if you have a GeForce graphic card.
The best angles in Orangle are brought to you by GeForce, right? So C9 here, this was a really interesting spot they chose to hold. It ended up backfiring terribly on them as there was a good wraparound that just completely annihilated the team. Missed having to resort to the river a little bit early. This spot's unique outside of Castle because of the V-shaped river. So you have the other island. Vega actually used it very smartly. They progressed across the island and were able to make the long swim.
Yeah, they made the play they needed to make. They pushed 4 AM through the water. I mean, they are sharks, right? And they went to the blind spot. Oh my God, that flank, by the way.
Poor LG. Well, this was Maluk looking for revenge, right? Because LG had sort of ambushed and wiped his team. So Maluk just hid in the grass until he could get around behind LG and then finished him off with the nade here. And you could hear him. I could hear him saying, like in his head, "Vengeance is mine."
Well, all those rotations. We have to talk about the rotation from Liquid early in the game. Very nicely done on the north side of the circle, but the later circle was ending on the southwest side, so it didn't pan out for them. But other than that, I feel like they made a good decision. But still, the fact that it finished near the ruins allowed many people to survive till the really late game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that Liquid rotation was very long to the outside. They came in sort of in the same area as TSM was. TSM had the cube for a little while. That said, the circle didn't favor them. They all moved in, and actually Vitality went deep in this game because TSM gave up that cube early.
Yeah, they saw TSM leave at the cube, and Vitality had the shack at the other side, near the bridge. And they saw TSM leave, so they used that moment to cross the water and get the position near the rocks at the other side.
You see the jumping around back and forth here. If
hilarious.
you're going to cross the open, you got to jump. Now, here's where Vega and Avangar essentially kind of won this game for 4 AM at the end. Because they had such good positions, that wall is really, really strong. They decided to go for a heavy push. As they pushed, you see Vega was trying to get 4 AM, had to turn and deal with the Avangar push. They sort of turned on each other. And in this moment of CIS violence, 4 AM up on the hill was able to sort of play the cleanup.
Do you think they did this push because they saw that 4 AM had 2 knocks?
Yeah, I think that they knew that there were 2 down, and I think Vega wanted to get that high ground position to stay out of the blue. And Avangar knew if Vega did get that, I don't think they beat Vega.
Yeah.
Maybe the read was that they are now just rezzing, and that is 10 seconds. That will give them the chance to deal with Vega during that time and then turn into 4 AM, but didn't pan out.
I mean, it was chaotic. It was one of those things, like, honestly, a 2